remember I say a lot. So
Me too, don't worry.
I'm going to be really conscious not
I
to say.
giggle a lot, and I don't know why. It's just,
That's cool.
I just do it. And I say,
yeah, me too. Wait, let's have a competition.
Yeah.
Let's see who can do the most amount of ums.
Yeah. Welcome to Nourished by Spinneys, the podcast which promises to inspire you to eat well and live well. I'm Tiffany Eslick.
And I'm Divina Devecha. This is a space where we hope to nourish your heart and soul. On this show, we chat with leading players in the food community, from farmers to foodies, as well as health and well-being experts. It's all about engaging conversations and fresh ideas.
And we're continuing our two-part miniseries that we're calling The Artist and the Scientist.
So to recap, on our last episode, Tiff, you spoke to the artist, Chef Gregoire Berger, on the way he conceptualizes his menu.
I don't want to frame myself to something that is too defined.
Yeah.
Art, and I believe what we do is art. It's a wider thing, right?
You'll find that episode in your podcast players right before this one, so definitely give it a listen if you haven't already.
And from that captivating conversation, we're moving to the scientist and the incredible precision of the menu at one-Michelin-star dinner by Heston Blumenthal at Atlantis The Royal with head chef Tom Allen.
When a dish goes on, it gets the first stage is developing, creating all the recipes and creating the recipe packs. They then get sent to us, and there's probably about 20 things that it goes through. We need to source the ingredients. We need to go through all the health and safety aspect. If there's any high-risk items, we send that off to a lab to get tested. Even put in the right button on the micro system. So the first time we press the button on the micro system, the check prints out and it's the correct, word. So it's very detailed.
Yeah.
And then we'll usually probably start by serving 6 or 10 portions a night just to get probably for the first 5 nights, just to get the flow right.
Okay.
Introducing a new dish into the kitchen. Logistical hurdles to overcome and serve in, and cutlery and plateware in China, that's all thought out beforehand.
When I first heard that, it sounded so intense. And then perhaps not so much when you realize the person behind this is Chef Heston Blumenthal. This is the man behind the iconic 3 Michelin-star Fat Duck, the 2 Michelin-star Dinner by Heston in London, and now 1 Michelin-star Dinner by Heston right here in Dubai. Tiff, have you been to one of his restaurants?
So I have been to dinner in London twice.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go to the Fat Duck, but I've never managed to get there. And I've dined at Dinner by Heston in Dubai last year. They were running the Pompeii menu at the time, and it was absolutely fabulous. I'll actually talk to Chef Tom about that menu a little later in the episode as well.
I actually haven't been to any of his restaurants just yet, but of course, they are all definitely on my list.
They have to be. And obviously what they do is incredibly creative, but it's backed by a rigorous, almost scientific process where everything is tested over and over and everything is so precise, from the logistics to even the way ingredients are sourced. Speaking of which, do you have a favorite ingredient that you like to cook with?
Well, I like to bake a lot. So for me, I need to have, a recipe in front of me, and I'm happy with being told how much to measure and what to do. So I enjoy the science part of it. But a must-have in my baking cupboard is definitely dark chocolate. I'm the kind of person where if a recipe doesn't say dark chocolate, I just assume it's going to be dark and I throw that in anyway. But yeah, how about you, Tiff?
I think I'm a bit of a fickle
Okay.
chef because, I have a new favorite every week.
Okay.
I mean, I think I've loved shopping for ingredients ever since I was a child and discovering new products. I'm currently obsessed with Aleppo pepper. It's not a new ingredient, but it's something that I really, really like. I also really enjoy smoking things, so like hot smoking salmon.
Yeah.
So maybe hot smoke is the ingredient more than
Maybe.
the salmon. But then I also like cacao and lovage, which is actually one of Chef Tom's 3 favorite ingredients as well.
That's interesting. What are the other 2?
Well, that's exactly what I asked him.
I absolutely love shiitake mushrooms. I think they're very versatile. Very versatile. I think they're full of flavor, like lots of umami flavor. So we use them a lot for kind of depth of flavor. We smoke them and char them in the josper, and then infuse them with like a dashi soy with a little bit of bonito just to get a depth of flavor. But
oh my God,
so I love shiitake mushrooms. So
yeah.
lovage, I think, is a beautiful herb. You can use it in savory or sweet. We have a dessert with lovage on as well. And then I love bergamot. So in bergamot season, we have we add bergamot into our curing of our salmon, our fish, and also in a dressing as well. It's just really, really floral and also really nice in the gin and tonic.
Yes.
Uh,
Interesting that you mentioned Natura, actually. I love following them on Instagram.
Dude,
Yeah. Like, did you see what they did for Valentine's Day with the radicchio?
I didn't know.
And they just like these amazing installations and like sent out these boxes to everyone with radicchio instead of roses. And I just think what they're doing is super creative.
Yeah, and they've grown, and they've I think they went into Ocado in the UK.
Yeah.
I remember during lockdown they were supplying Ocado, and
Yeah.
I think they were they were one of the companies that thrived during lockdown with home deliveries.
Yeah.
In the UK. But they managed to. I think they had an incredible team of people, and they managed to grow but still be true to themselves and just be about the quality and some of the ingredients they were getting. And Delica pumpkin,
Yes.
phenomenal. I remember the farmer from northern Italy during the kind of spring, summer months, he'd grow melon, and then going into kind of later summer into autumn, he'd have pumpkins. And
Fantastic.
this one pumpkin, which you have other companies and other growers, they grow the same variety, but what this farmer was doing, he was obviously tending to each pumpkin individually, and he would farm them. He would pick them and then put them into a warehouse, a climate controlled warehouse, and he would wait until the pumpkin would lose 30% of its volume of moisture.
Yeah.
And when it hit, he would literally weigh each one, and they'd put like a little wax cap on the top of the stalk, and that's where the moisture is kind of passed through. So by putting the wax cap on, you see it a lot with pears and apples.
Yeah, you do.
So it's to stop the ripening process.
Oh, okay.
And then literally, I'd heard pumpkin, mentioned a lot in my career, kind of coming, through the years. And I remember tasting the Lika pumpkin.
Yeah.
I remember it just being next level, and I'd never tasted anything like it. We had a really beautiful quail dish on in Dinner London with the Delica pumpkin. So if you're ever in London, or you're
often
in the tour, and it's that time of year, grab a
Yeah.
Delica pumpkin and just slowly roast it. It's incredible. I
Will
miss
do.
the Delica pumpkins from the tour.
You talk so passionately about like ingredients. Just having spoken to you now for like 10 minutes. What are your like fondest memories? Like, have you always been passionate about food and ingredients like since you were a kid? Like, what are your memories about that?
So it comes from mum and dad. So my dad always grew lots of vegetables and fruit in the garden, and as a child, I didn't really appreciate it. I'd go out and help, and I'd kind of stamp on a few things and probably frustrate him, and do the fun bit, putting the seeds in, and obviously watering, and then you have to be patient and wait for it to grow. And mum always cooked. She was always really great at home cooking. So we obviously during the summer and kind of autumn, we used to always harvest the vegetables and the fruit, and we'd be always part of cooking family meals. And I think when you grow and you have that appreciation as well, and it's something that I think is done full circle. I remember dad always being in the garden and kind of tatting in the garden. And then, he'd come in at certain times of year with a load of runner beans or a load of blackberries, and you get to taste the fruit and the vegetable at the peak of season as well, which I think you taste what they should taste like, and obviously we're in a very consumer-led world, mass-produced world and it has to be, to keep up with the population. So sometimes you taste a lot of fruit and vegetables and meat as well, proteins, fish. You taste a lot of bad examples of what things should not taste like. So when you taste something in season and it's it's been part of your childhood, and I do the same, where we can with my daughters.
Oh, cool.
And I think it's good just to show them. Show children where food comes from.
Absolutely, and
it's really
understand the
important.
effort that's involved.
Absolutely, it's an investment.
Yeah,
Just talking about the
yeah,
pumpkin, we're talking
yeah.
about not only do they grow them, but they then age them and hit a certain weight, and that's we obviously at dinner we always look for the best quality ingredients, and we try not to do too crazy things with them. We have our detailed methodology and our technique that we've learned from the Fat Duck and from Heston from the last 25, 30 years almost, and we just try and stay true to what the ingredient is, and just treat it with respect. When we're cooking a piece of beef in the restaurant, it's a 2-year-old investment. From the farming, the aging process as well. So it's really important for us to treat it with respect and hopefully not overcook it, and pair it with some tasty ingredients, and some wines or non-alcoholic pairings as well, and have the story of where that came from. We don't we're not forceful with it in our service in the restaurant, but if a guest asks, where the chicken came from or where that
Yeah.
ingredient came from. Like I say, if people don't want to know, then that's fine. We do a lot of the background, sourcing, the testing to find what we feel is the best, whether it's a piece of fish or chicken or duck
Yeah.
or vegetable, herb, fruit to represent what we want it to represent on the dish. So it's just to have that information and that backstory.
And working with ingredients like that, and obviously you've learned a lot from Heston, and you've grown over the years, and you're teaching many people. What would you say is like the biggest thing that you've learned having worked with Heston?
Heston is an amazing person, and I have a very personal and professional relationship with him. And so much of what I do in my life in the kitchen and what I do in my life out of the kitchen, I think has started by you're working at the Fat Duck. You're working at the 3 Michelin-star level. It's really hard to explain. It's
Yeah.
almost like a cult,
Okay, yeah.
and everyone is there for the reasons to to learn and to be passionate and enthusiastic together, and just to be part of this amazing adventure to create an amazing dining experience, to work with the best ingredients and some of the best chefs and service people in the world. You get this. It sounds really cliche, but it's like a little family,
Yeah.
like a work family, and we laugh a lot and we have a good time and we have lots of banter. We're serious when we need to be, and but it's just we try to create a very relaxed but disciplined
Yeah.
work environment. So relaxed in the same way that we're not a hierarchical kitchen or restaurant. We have great cohesiveness between the kitchen and the service team. John, the general manager, he's he's one of my best friends. We came on this journey together to Dubai. We worked in London with one another for 8.5 years, and we've been 2.5 years in Dubai. And we disagree, but it's good to disagree.
Absolutely.
In a professional and a constructive way, and we push each other and we back each other up, and that filters through into the team. We sit in our 1 o'clock operations meetings every day, and we go through all the bookings, and we just end up belly laughing. And what they must see on the cameras think, what are those guys doing? But and I think it's so important to start the day, on a good note.
Yeah.
And I think have that throughout the team, and for people to challenge each other. I want the chefs. I want everyone to challenge me, just like I challenge them respectfully. We never stay still. We're always looking for that next new dish or that next thing or that next new way of doing things, and obviously adapting for Dubai as well. London is a very different city
Yeah.
to Dubai. Dinner London is a very different restaurant, to dinner Dubai. It's very similar, but it's very different as well. It has a very different feel. We have music playing in Dubai, which we never did in London.
I remember that actually from being at dinner in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was always music kind of coming from the
Yeah,
bar, which
but
was
so
connected.
Ashley said that because I interviewed Ashley
Okay.
years ago, and
Okay.
and he said the same thing. Like it was very like
Yeah, and I think-
focused and like
And it was, and I think that's good. But I think in Dubai, it's a very different vibe. I think the guests expect there to be that
Yeah.
atmosphere of music, and it's very moody and atmospheric.
Yeah.
It's more a nighttime restaurant for Dubai. Having said that, we've just launched Sunday lunch, so we have to put the blinds down because you see that now that the light is very bright, and we have an incredible view. I mean, it's a pretty
you really do.
amazing office window. You're looking at the marina
and
skyline.
daytime and night. I mean, at night
And it
it's
comes to life at
mesmerizing.
night.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And to be in Atlanta, you have the fountain going off every half hour, and
How do you keep your guys, like yourselves, motivated with this creativity? Because, I mean, what you're putting out is super creative, and so innovative. And I mean, I know you're working with a huge team when you're
We do.
researching a new dish or you're looking at, going and delving into the history of something on a new project. But are you like reading every single day and watching tons of stuff? And
no,
like,
I'm not.
yeah.
I should read more.
Yeah.
To be honest, I really struggle with reading. I'm
Yeah.
a real visual
Okay.
learner, and having conversations. And
Yeah.
we had a Zoom call yesterday with the creative team from the Fat Duck group, talking about up and coming menus and
Yeah.
activations that we can include in Dubai. Also, we've just engaged with a professor. I think his name is Daniel Newman. He's based in London, and he spent a lot of time in Abu Dhabi. So we're looking at doing some Arabic food research
Oh,
to then
wow, okay.
incorporate, Bedouin culture,
Yeah.
spice route, and local kind of key ingredients and flavors onto the menu so that we can have, that point of difference from London.
Yeah.
So we're literally in an early stage of that. So we work with food historians, creators of museum, and we have an extensive development team in Bray. So we'll research, go to the British Library a couple of times a year. We have pretty extensive access into their archives, very, very exclusive and very fortunate that we get to go in, and we have books in our hands from as early as the 13th century up to early 19th century, which is,
wow.
more recent food history, but it is food history. Yesterday technically is history.
Yes.
So we work with a team there, Polly Russell, food historian. We go and we literally take out books from the archives and we delve into them, and a lot of them we have to get translated because they didn't really have a language to write
Yes.
down. It was didn't read or write, so a lot of the recipes back then were passed down by mouth and kind of phonetically writing and Latin. So we have to get them translated, and then we literally take those dishes and ingredients, and then we'll take those dishes back to and references back to our development kitchen in Bray near the Fat Duck, and we will research and we will map out and we will reimagine and recreate the dishes from the past to bring them back to life. So it's a pretty special thing to be able to do.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
it's like alchemy, and it's
that's it, yeah. So,
yeah.
and it's lovely. You can bring forgotten dishes and ingredients, and
Yeah.
and in the research, we actually found out that Britain had a far more extensive food culture than we think they did.
Yeah.
So that was what Heston really planned to do with dinner, and to bring old dishes back to life and put Britain on the gastronomic
Absolutely.
map.
When we come back, Chef Tom tells me how he's not much of a planner and prefers to live in the moment, and some of the dishes I tried from the Pompeii menu. That's right after this short break. Welcome back. You're listening to Nourished by Spinneys, and let's get right back to our conversation with Chef Tom Allen. Yeah, how long will it take? So let's say you right in 2025 we want to launch
But we want
the,
to.
the
Yeah,
Arabic
so
menu.
I would imagine, hopefully, I would say within 6 to 8 months we'll have some dishes on. So
Okay.
obviously they go through a very rigorous development process, and then we need to. It goes through a whole process of we need to source the ingredients. We need to go through all the health and safety aspect. If there's any high risk items, we send that off to a lab to get tested
Yeah.
to make sure that our cooking techniques and methods are safe. Tasting the wines or non-alcoholic pairings, training the team, allergens.
Yeah.
So we have when a dish goes on, it gets the first stage is developing, creating all the recipes and creating the recipe packs. They then get sent to us, and there's probably about 20 things that it goes through. Quite lengthy process, but
Yeah.
it means that when that dish goes on the menu, even putting the right button on the micro system. So the first time we press the button on the micro system, the check prints out and it's the correct, word. So in a busy service, we're not having to say one thing and then something else. So it's very detailed. And then we'll usually probably start by serving 6 to 10 portions a night, just to get probably for the first 5 nights, just to get the flow right. Introducing a new dish into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Logistical hurdles to overcome and serve in, and cutlery and plateware and china, that's all thought out beforehand. So
Actually, 6 to 8 months is really not that long if you think of all the research
no,
that's going
it's
in.
not.
and all of
But
this stuff.
to some people, and I know
Yeah.
you, part of what you do is the development process, so you have an understanding of that. But coming up with new and exciting dishes that like the meat fruit, the tipsy cake, it takes a long time.
It does. Like, how
to-
do you top such great
that's
dishes?
it.
Yeah.
And you try to change it for that point of difference, but if you get a dish that's just incredible, I remember that there's so many dishes from my time at the Fat Duck that I look back on, and it's they're for me that they're almost perfect.
Yeah.
And to come away from that, you just got to have the confidence to go, right, this will always be on the menu, or that will come out at a later date, and it will always be that dish. But we have dishes at dinner that they haven't changed. We've tried to change them, and it doesn't really work, and you're always comparing it to what it was. So
Yeah.
we obviously try and we have a bank of dishes that we bring on the menu, and through seasons we've just put lobster and cucumber soup on, which is very fresh. It's delicious. So
That does sound delicious.
you have to
Yeah.
come in and have it.
I will.
It's on the menu. It's very green, so very green, fresh
Yeah.
cucumber soup. So we juice the cucumbers, lots of the peel and the skin to get the lovely green color.
Mm-hmm.
And then we serve it with lots of sorrel,
Okay.
lots of edible herbs, and again, just keeping it very simple, but again, ingredient led. Yeah, the dishes interchange through the year, but we have dishes that always come back and will always remain on the menu as well, like meat fruit, tipsy cake,
Yeah.
salamagundi.
Don't ever take one
No,
of the
tipsy.
meat- yeah.
I've eaten so many tipsy cakes in the last 12 years.
Yeah.
And I actually, the last 2 nights, I've gone into the pastry section and I've eaten 2 tipsies before I leave, which is not good at that time of
It's
night.
like emo eat some
It's
tipsy.
not
Yeah.
good, but it's like having a big cuddle. It's like
Yeah.
comfort food at its absolute best.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many meat fruits have you eaten?
Not so many meat fruits,
Okay,
actually.
yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah.
Obviously, we taste them to check the quality, but that's one of the dishes that you can eat over and over. And then when you come in the restaurant and you've got a glass of something nice to go with it, and you're with your friends and family, it's a very clever dish, and it really
is.
provokes emotion, and it's a bit of trompe l'oeil. Things aren't quite as you seem. You think you're eating something that it's not, and it's a nice surprise. But
I mean, I think it's one of those iconic dishes
It
in the world. I
is.
mean, just from the sheer number of people who've tried to copy it. But
it
yeah.
is, yeah. We have inspired lots of people, and that's
Yeah.
great.
Inspired is a good way of putting it. I
uh,
remember when it first came out, and I remember reading about it and then thinking, when I am in London, I am
Yeah.
going to try this. And I did, yeah. So
how many times did you go to dinner London?
twice.
Okay.
Yeah. I went once just for fun and once for work. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you
yeah.
get to see the Queen's Guards passing by?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
it was lovely during kind of end of breakfast, going into the beginning of lunch. You see the change of guards. It was, and then obviously Hyde Park
Yes, yeah.
evolving through the seasons as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
We have a very different view, but just as stunning in a very
Just
different way.
a very different way actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Pompeii menu.
Okay.
So is that still running?
It's not, no.
Oh,
So
okay,
we ran
yeah.
that for the month of, I think it was November, the month of November. And I remember again we worked with a food historian called Paul, who literally devoted his whole life to Pompeii. I think he was involved in the excavation of the city,
Yeah.
and discovering all the artifacts, and just again so much passion and enthusiasm. So we collaborated with him and his team at the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. And I remember Heston calling and saying, "Right, I want to do something with Pompeii." Like, I remember thinking, what's he talking about?
Yeah.
And then obviously, we went to the museum, we walked around the exhibition, and really kind of lived and breathed it, and got to chat with his team and work with the historians there, and just delve in more into the ingredients and what was going on in society in Pompeii at the time, and obviously the disaster, which was devastating. But from that disaster, we were able to, maybe if we didn't, if that volcano hadn't erupted and buried the city, maybe we wouldn't have had so much insight as to how they were living their life, what they were eating, and actually how far in advance they were at that time. They
Yeah.
had hot water pipes, copper pipes with hot water running through them, which almost 2,000 years ago it's quite
It's
hard to
unbelievable. Yeah.
kind of comprehend.
Yeah.
So yeah, we worked with the team, and we took the ideas back, and we created the menu, which obviously you came in and
Yeah.
had. And
I'm
it's,
sad that it's not on anymore because I would totally come back for it. It will come back.
and the dishes,
Yeah.
will absolutely come back.
Okay.
Maybe as individual dishes, but yeah, lots of depth of flavor.
Absolutely.
in
Like
the-
that butter that you had with the
Yeah.
ash bread. Was it squid ink butter?
Squid ink butter
Yeah.
with prawn head oil, and like a dashi, an umami dashi went into it. And yeah, I remember we did this butter, and Heston was like, "Right, what about taking liquid nitrogen and whisking it up?" And I remember thinking, "Okay, yeah, we'll try that." And I remember we did it, and that's the thing that Heston he's just genius at. Obviously inspiring the team, coming in, and we may have worked on something and think that we're there, and he'll come in and just maybe go a little bit left or a little bit right, and then bring it back in and just put those little clever touches on. So yeah, we took the butter, tempered it, and then whisked it with liquid nitrogen, and it actually looked like a piece of molten lava rock.
Yeah.
And then we just had he was like, "Right, what to get the prawn head." He discovered prawn head oil on one of travels to, I think Asia. And we managed to source it in UK and obviously here as well, through one of our suppliers. And the flavor, it's like just the smell and the flavor of fresh prawn. And he's like, what about if we put some drops on so it looks like molten lava? And you're like, all right, and we did it, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And it just added to the depth of flavor as well. And then with the bread, the loaves, so obviously life was going on as normal, in the year 79 AD.
As it does.
As it
Yeah.
does, as it did, and when the people of Pompeii woke up, they had no idea what was coming their way. First of all, the volcanic pebbles covered the city over a number of hours, and that was what preserved the city. And then once the city was covered in the rock debris, then the volcano erupted, and I think Pompeii was a coastal city, and then after the volcano erupted, it was a couple of kilometers inland, which just gives you the extent of what actually happened.
Yeah.
And they excavated a bakery, and within the oven they found carbonized loaves. So I mean, it's incredible. They found honey, they found olive oil, and Paul, the historian, he lifted we weren't able to, but he lifted the stopper out of the olive oil bottle, and he said it smelled like olive oil, which is it's incredible. So they found these loaves, and obviously they were carbonized. And they had 23, I think, and I think they brought some over. I remember we took on the shape of the loaf, and then we put our little kind of our inspiration. So we put ash in there, and we put kind of some grains from Italy. We
Yeah.
tried to use as many ingredients as we could, incredible ingredients from Italy, to keep it authentic and to have that backstory as well.
Yeah.
And we
It was
serve wines.
delicious. It was
Yeah,
unbelievably
so
delicious.
with that
Yeah.
bread served warm with the butter is
Yeah.
pretty nice. So we work with the team here to create the loaf, the in-house bakers, and for them, it's something new, and inspiring the team down there, and working with them and adjusting, this and adding that. So yeah, the bread was pretty lovely.
And the smoked mussels were also
Yeah,
highly memorable.
yeah, with
One of my favorite dishes.
the lovage and the smoked mussel
yeah.
broth, and again garum. That was something that we worked with. So garum was a seasoning anchovy. So we actually used garum that came from the Amalfi Coast. So they take the sardines, fillet them, salt them, and then let them ferment in a chestnut barrel for the summer. And then obviously the garum that we had was all the juice and the depth of umami flavor from the salt and the anchovies, kind of light fermentation as well. So the Romans would carry around with them a little pouch of seasoning, garum, and that would be how they would take their food, and they kind of give it seasoning. So yeah, to take that and to use wines from the vineyards from near Pompeii.
No, I thought it was very well put together, the whole menu, all the pairings. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was fantastic.
That's
I
good.
just remember just being in this like whirlwind of amazing
That's
food.
cool.
So
And
yeah,
that's what we love doing at the restaurant as well,
Yeah.
is serving tasty food, that we try to find the best quality ingredients and treat them with respect. And obviously the methodology that we've learned, and obviously in dinner we have the Josper oven, so we have a
Yeah.
lot of sous vide cooking on charcoal and embers, lots of pickling, smoking, brining, which obviously we've learned over the years. They didn't have refrigeration, so
Yeah.
for them to get through the year, get through the seasons, and preserve food, it was a lot of pickling and smoking. So we've adopted a lot of pickling and smoking on our menu.
Is there like a time or a country or something that you would love to really go into great research about? I don't know. Are you fascinated by, say, Peru, or is there a specific era that you would love to go and work on?
Wise, it's quite a hard question actually to think about.
Yeah, sorry, I just threw
no,
that one
it's,
in. Yeah.
it's caught me off guard, that one. I don't know. I'm really excited about the what we can pull out of the Arabic, to see what we can do, and hopefully connect with a lot of our guests, from this region. So I'm really excited about obviously finding ingredients and the backstory as well. To be able to, we love storytelling, and again, if our guests want to, know what was going on in society, or know why we've come to serve that dish, we have that authenticity and that storytelling element, edible history, Heston calls it. Some people want to come to the restaurant and have that, go down the rabbit hole, as we
Yeah.
say. Heston's obsession with Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the way that you give those cards out and you're like, do you want all the information? Do you
Yeah.
want a little? I was like, yes, give me everything. Because
Yeah.
you go down that rabbit hole and you just get like sucked into this,
do.
all this information and history and
Yeah.
inspiration. And, you've got to take part in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was the way, we implemented. I remember having a chat with Heston in the south of France when I went and stayed with him. And I remember we were in this beautiful little restaurant in his little like hometown of where he lives in Gallier in Provence, near Provence. And I remember we're in this little restaurant. I said to him, I bet you love coming here because he wasn't getting bothered and, everyone coming up and, he loves that element of it. And, he's amazing when people come up and acknowledge him. And that's part of what has made him Heston.
Yeah.
But it just really honest human restaurant and, passing the restaurant, the menu to each other. I'm not great at reading menus, and he's not either. So he's like, "What do you want?" I'm not sure. You order. He's like, "No, you order." So we're kind of back and forth, passing the menu to each other. And then him saying, what he loves about coming to restaurants is he loves just to be with the people he's with and immerse himself in the dining experience and not get bothered too much in the nicest possible way. So those cards were a way of us of sometimes we get people come in on business dinners, or they come in and they with friends and family, or they've traveled here and they've made a point from their trip to book this restaurant, which is amazing, and they want the full immersive story. Other people just want to be minimal. Okay, this is your dish and kind of left alone and really unintrusive service. So what those cards do is it just gives you as the diner just to cut out the awkwardness of, okay, we want the full experience, or we just want to in our own company. So yeah, it works well. It works well with those cards.
I encourage everyone to tick or put the card that says "Tell me everything."
Swap the cards around as well through the meal. Make sure the service team are paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Keep them on their toes.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, I have one more question.
Yep.
And actually two more questions.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, like, when you set out as a chef, what kind of vision did you have for yourself? And did you ever think that you would be where you are now?
Do you know what? No, I don't. My wife and I, we don't really plan too much.
Yeah.
We just we go on journeys together with our daughters as well, and we just surround ourselves by good people, and we do something. We love what we do, and we put a lot of effort and emphasis onto our paths. We make choices that put us into. We made the choice to come to Dubai, which we're so happy we did, and we're very proud to be here at this time. And I think it's a phenomenal place, and the city is growing, and what they've achieved in Dubai in the last 50 years, 60 years is mind blowing. And what's going on within our industry as well, the food and beverage industry, and is really exciting. And the Michelin Gourmet and the top 50 coming to the region, and the chefs that are coming to the region and the hotels that are being built, is phenomenal. So we don't plan too much, as long as we're happy and we're enjoying life and we have that balance of family and work and traveling. We love traveling as well. So no, we tend not to plan too much. Maybe we should try and plan a bit more, but we're happy in the moment, and we just see where it takes us. And I'm on this journey now with our family, and we have this amazing restaurant in this amazing property in this beautiful country and city. We feel very privileged to be. We're very proud to be British, and doing the British food history and flying the Heston flag and dinner by Heston, fat duck for Atlantis The Royal. But so no, the long-winded answer to your question is we just tend to we don't plan too much. And as a chef, no, I never envisioned when I went to college all those years ago and made decisions, and you go on you meet people and go from kitchen to kitchen. So no, I don't plan too much.
Maybe that's the trick. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is. I think we're very happy in the moment, and I think a lot of people, you can plan a plan.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to have a plan and an idea of where you want to be, but also living in the moment, I think, is really important.
Yeah, and take stock.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we just booked a trip to Cape Town, and 3 weeks ago that wasn't even on the radar. So and we've sat down as a family on mornings and evenings, and we've researching and get my daughters to research, and I guess that's the power of the internet is and obviously chatting to different people.
Yeah.
And
And now I'm
great,
about to WhatsApp you 500
getting
suggestions.
but that's it. Getting great recommendations and meeting, to cross paths with like-minded people. I love that element of and you have that connection with people as well.
Yeah. Food really does.
It
The minute you
does.
start talking about food or travel, it just connects me to a lot of people. So
That's it, and
Yeah.
it's a huge part of our lives, and it's a food to provoke memories from nostalgic memories, or to create we've created lots of what we associate with Dubai. We
Yeah.
taste and we drink and we sit and we have experiences that now we relate to our travels of this part of our life as
Yeah.
well. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
That's
to your
okay.
question.
And the last question will probably tie into a bit of it, but we ask everyone because our podcast is called Nourish. What nourishes your soul?
Tipsy cake.
Yes.
Again, it probably depends on. It's like asking someone, "What's your favorite food?" or
Yeah.
"What's your favorite country to visit?"
Yeah.
I guess it depends on where I am, how I'm feeling, who I'm with. So nourishing my soul, I think meeting good people, good, genuine, honest people. And I'll always say, surround yourself with good people. I think to be able to eat delicious food and travel to new and exciting countries, and to experience new cultures and to learn about cultures. Since arriving in Dubai, I've learned so much about myself. I've changed as a person. I've learned so much about different cultures, different parts of the world. Lovely and genuine people, and connecting with those people as well. Whether it's we're sitting on this podcast, we've got, I think, a lot in common.
Yeah.
With what we're talking about, and our travels and food and drink. But also, I love connecting with people when they come and sit down, and we can connect with them and trigger emotion. I think is a really powerful thing to do. And I had some guests in last night that they came to dinner last year, and they kept in contact over Instagram. And actually got them a reservation at the Fat Duck, and they'd been trying to get a reservation for the last 8 years, and they were really happy. And they came back, and it's their anniversary, and I gave them I sent them this morning a list of my favorite things to do in Dubai, and just connect with people. I love just passing on knowledge and little snippets of information. So yeah, I think just connecting with people and just surrounding yourself with good people. I love that.
Yeah.
And tipsy cake.
Of course,
Yeah.
always tipsy cake. Oh, well, thank you so much, Tom.
Thank
It was,
you.
really great talking to you.
It's lovely to chat with you, and thank you for
yeah.
your time. Thank you for having us on.
Cool.
And please come back for Sunday lunch.
Oh, I will be doing
and
so, yeah.
come back for the lobster cucumber soup as well.
Yeah, come back for everything,
Yeah,
basically.
definitely.
Okay, so tipsy cake has been mentioned so many times on this episode, but what is it?
I think that you need to make a reservation at dinner and go and try tipsy cake for yourself. So it's one of the classics.
Okay.
It's obviously based on a hugely traditional dessert. It's just warm and gooey and inviting and sugary and delicious. And yeah, you need to go try it.
Yep. No, sounds great.
This episode was brought to you by Spinneys and is hosted by me, Tiffany Eslick, and Davina Devicha. We're produced by Chirag Desai. Don't forget to follow Spinneys on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more. You can also visit us at spinneys.com, where you can shop for fresh produce and a variety of local and exclusive products.
We'll be back again in 2 weeks with a new episode. See you then.
Sorry, but as I was talking to you about the tipsy cake, I got closer and closer and scratched my chin. So involved.
Hey.
Tiff is a little tipsy. Okay, let's try.
She's not.